Hello everyone, I am Lynn, and today we're going to talk about memories and how they are encoded in your DNA. So if you're interested in hearing a little more about this topic, please stay tuned. All right, everybody, so this is really interesting. I'll just get straight to the question here. It says, I'm curious about memories being coded in DNA. Could you please tell us if the data is recorded as a chemical change in the DNA molecules, or are there other ways of storing information in the DNA? I thought it was a great question. So, in looking at DNA, it is said that we have junk DNA that doesn't really serve a purpose. There's certain markers that can identify different characteristics, different things about the human body here, but the remaining is considered extra. And we always hear that term, junk DNA, extra DNA, or DNA that we don't use. So as I look at DNA, I get our bodies are brilliant, and our Creator is too smart to put junk into our body, too smart to put junk in our DNA. Everything that we are and we have is done with divine design, and that is so important, everybody. Please don't lose sight of that. Just because we don't fully understand or identify the components of our DNA, it doesn't mean that it isn't valuable or that it doesn't serve a purpose. And I get that our DNA gets imprinted just like a stamp, if you can envision it that way. It's usually done with an emotional trigger or a hormone or chemical response to something that's happened in that person's life. This is why we're drawn to certain experiences to somewhat cancel that emotional trigger out, because our body wants to work in homeostasis. Our body wants to be in balance. The universe wants to work in balance. So the goal is to create a situation that allows you to find and experience and have that balance. So we work toward this equilibrium. You may accomplish this within the same lifetime. Maybe not. Hopefully you do, but many times it doesn't happen that way. And it's important to note that the memory will not be erased. It becomes bonded in the subconscious, but it's no longer going to have an impact. It can no longer harm you. And I equate this to, you might write a word with a pen, right? When you draft a document. So you're writing this thing in pen, and then you have some kind of a trigger happen, something, whatever, and you draw a line through a word because you made an error or whatever. You chose the wrong word, you did the wrong thing. So that essentially cancels what it is as you're editing through the document, but the word's still there. It's still imprinted. It can't hurt you though. It doesn't carry the same weight. It's the same type of thing. And if you cannot work through this trauma or this trigger in the current life, and the trigger stays imprinted without being canceled out, without working on it, without doing something to release that from your being, then you most times are going to repeat a life with a similar theme in order to provide another opportunity to work through what is impacting you on this deep subconscious level. And this is why when I'm doing past readings, I'll have a life pull forward that parallels this life, or you'll have an event that provides clarity to issues in this life, such as, why do you have a phobia? There's something you didn't work through. Why do you have a fear? Something irrational that goes through your mind. Maybe you have a birthmark. There's all kinds of things that can happen that unless you balance it out, it's going to manifest in a different life until you work through it. Our DNA, folks, is so truly amazing, and it just paints a story of how you got to where you are now. And when I was doing this reading, it was so funny because I heard this phrase that it was the true blockchain before cryptos figured out their version of how to do it. And that's so true. In cryptos, you have this every trade or whatever leaves a mark, leaves a trail, but you can't really completely identify maybe what's going on. Your DNA is the same way. It tells a story and imprints how you got to where you are now. And that was all I had for this reading. Hope you enjoyed it. Please hop on over to the blog, check me out. If you want a past life reading, come to the blog or reach out. Happy to set you up with one. But I will leave you with that for now, and thanks so much. psychicfocus.blogspot.com. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.